Welcome to Grant's Rock Warehouse, and tonight I want to welcome Steve and Schnee to the channel. Tonight we are going to look at Greg Kihn and the Greg Kihn Band catalog. We're looking at those Beserkley years back in the day, so welcome to the show. We are live.
Grant is changing the world one track at a time on Grant's Rock Warehouse.
Welcome to Grant's Rock Warehouse, and we are live, and we are doing, we're doing a show on Greg Kihn, who recently passed away. And, you know, someone should say something about Greg Kihn. Someone should do a show. And guess who's doing it?
Yes.
Me and I. So we're just going to look at the Beserkley years. So we're going to go from...
basically the first 10 years. We're going to go
first 10 years.
Beserkley.
Up to 1986.
Yes.
Okay. We're ending in 86. So this is probably all the best stuff. And no one really talks about Greg Kihn. And, you know... He's passed away now and probably should have done it while he was alive, but needless to say, we're doing it now. Mr. Schnee, nice to see you. How are you?
Nice to see you, Grant. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Hey, no problem. Well, it's always good to talk music, and I'm glad you're here. So we're going to look at Greg Kihn, born July 10th, 1949, Baltimore, Maryland. Moved to California in the early 70s, became of the Berkeley music scene, and, you know, we know the Greg Kihn Band. Jeopardy, come on, some great songs, a good blend of pop, rock, new wave. Some people call him power pop. We'll tackle that.
Soul was in there. Reggae.
Reggae.
He had an affection for reggae. So you know, a couple songs spread out throughout his career had that really reggae vibe.
So we're just going to go through the catalog, keep it loose, talk about it. His first record. His debut album, Greg Kihn, came out in 1976. Let me pop up the graphic. Let's be professionals here. So there's the graphic, Greg Kihn album. You know, it's funny. I remember back in the day when I was a kid going through the bins at Musicland, they always had this record in stock. And then later on, I never really saw it again. I mean, I would see it like in discount bins.
Yeah.
But this is where everything started for Greg, 1976. This is pre-Greg Kihn Band.
Yes, but I will tell you that on the album, it's Greg Kihn, Larry Lynch, drummer, who was in the Greg Kihn Band, and Steve Wright on bass, who was in the Greg Kihn Band, and then Robbie Dunbar on guitar. Robbie Dunbar was a guitar player for a band called Earthquake, also signed to Beserkley, and the older brother of Tommy Dunbar from the Rubinoos.
There you go.
Yeah, so there's that Beserkley link right there. Gary Phillips played keyboards on this album, and he would later join the Greg Kihn Band, you know, several years down the line. You know, I remember seeing this in the bins, but I think that I saw it when it was new. I didn't know, you know, back in 76, I didn't really get into new wave and stuff like that, but I would, you know, until like early 78. So I never, you know, I would never really give this a look. You know, I'd flip through the bins, I'd see it. And, you know, this does look towards the future, you know, but it's not really a rock record. It's more of a singer-songwriter folk record, but it's very much Greg Kihn. It's you know, he has when he writes songs, in my opinion, sort of a unique chord changes and stuff. So it's very much Greg Kihn, plus that raspy little, or, you know, slightly raspy voice. I think the best song on this album is Any Other Woman. But a lot of nice songs. I don't think this is a great gateway if somebody says, oh my gosh, I want to jump into the Greg Kihn catalog. But it's still a very, very fine album to add to your collection.
Yeah. You know what's funny about Greg's catalog? Now, I know we're in the album era now where everybody's buying vinyl, but there was only one CD release, and this came out on Line Records back in what? Golly, like in 1987 is the only time it ever came out on CD online in Germany. A lot of his releases never ever got a CD release, or if they did, they were like over in Europe. So this is one of those records I don't think that many people know about.
Yeah, you see, that's the really frustrating thing about Greg's catalog is, yes, most of it came out online. Line wasn't known for, hey, let's get the masters. Usually Line Records releases sounded kind of thin and ugly, but still, it was the way to get them. I've had all the Greg Kihn albums
Hmm.
on CD at some point in my life, but as I've stated, previously, there have been times where, my second wife wasn't working, so I had to sell some things that were higher price. And back then, I was maybe selling them for $50, $75. Now they go for
Hmm.
150,
Hmm.
175 or something. Um, but it's frustrating because he went in and he gained control of his catalog and he put quote unquote remastered versions digitally, but only released a best of Greg Kihn, the Beserkley years on CD. And none
On
of his,
Rhino, that was on
no,
Rhino. What?
this is,
No,
no, there was one on Rhino. I think it was called like,
that's the one. I've got that.
yeah, there are several great Greg Kihn compilations out, but the individual albums, um, one or two of the albums may have been released domestically, but they were on like wooden something records, wooden nickel records or something, and they were here and gone in a heartbeat. Um, so yeah, his stuff is you can't. I mean, there some of these albums I just lay in bed at night for the last 20 years, and I've just gone, oh, if I had that on CD, sure, I can go download the songs. But
Hmm.
and I've actually talked to a couple labels, talked to Greg Kihn, try to work out a deal. Um, you know, there's at least three or four labels that I talked to about contact him. He's remastered his stuff. He has control over it. Release it, and obviously now, hopefully, somebody can talk to his estate and release
Well,
them. But
why did he never? I'm surprised that the albums weren't released like on Rhino
I know.
or One Way at least, or something
Wounded
like that.
Bird.
Wounded Bird had been perfect for that because, those labels deal with these albums that didn't really sell a whole lot. This didn't sell anything. This didn't even chart. The
Yeah.
blip on the screen doesn't mean it's a bad
Omnivore would be a
record.
great label. Omnivore would be a great.
Omnivore.
Yeah.
So, and I never went out to Spotify to see if you can even stream this stuff. I don't know if it's available for streaming or not.
Yeah, it's all available on Spotify.
It is on Spotify.
Yes, because like I said, he digitally remastered it. So it's all out there.
Okay.
Every album that we're going to talk about today is all out there. I just wanted to verify. So I went and I checked iTunes, they're all available, and I checked Spotify, they're all available.
Rock Candy.
Yeah, Rock Candy.
Ken, that's a good point.
Yeah.
You've got Rock Candy to Donnie Iris, and they did a wonderful, absolutely wonderful job
incredible.
on it.
Yeah.
So, why not? I don't know. I just
Greg Kihn is definitely an artist. I'm not going to say that Greg Kihn, every album is Abbey Road or every album is Rubber Soul or anything like that. All I'm going to say is his albums are worthwhile because I'm not, I know this is not a popular opinion. I'm not a fan of Jeopardy.
I like Jeopardy.
Um,
I think those are his best albums too, but we'll get there.
Yeah. But anyway, this is a
yeah, and Schnee, the music is more important than the wife.
Yeah, I know. But
we all love Greg Kihn. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, this is it's a fine album. Like I said, grab it if you find it, but don't let that be the gateway. With each album, until he got to the Greg Kihn Band, I think he just kept getting better.
Well, I agree. You mentioned that this was much more of a singer-songwriter record.
Yeah.
But all the songs are good. The harmonies are great.
Yep.
They're tight. But I mean, if you know him from Jeopardy, songs like that, this isn't that type of record.
Yeah.
But I don't think if you're just getting into Greg Kihn, I'd say probably pick this up, but maybe pick up one of those albums or maybe a greatest hits or go to Spotify and try it out first. But I don't think Yeah, maybe some of the albums are a bit spotty, but there's not a bad record in the
No,
lot. There's just
no.
different degrees of Greg. So
Yeah.
this is a decent debut. I think as we keep going through the catalog, he hones in his skills,
Mhm.
songwriting gets better, production gets better. Hey, this is the first album. So
Yeah,
not a bad place to start. But
exactly.
I think as we keep going to their catalog, I think things get better.
Yeah.
So the next record we've got is Greg Kihn again from 1977.
This is the first album where he basically had the Greg Kihn Band. It's still called Greg Kihn. It's Greg Kihn, Larry Lynch, Steve Wright, like I told you, but he added lead guitar player Dave Carpenter. And this album is edgier. My favorites is his cover of Bruce Springsteen's "For You," and then there's another song, and it depends on what release you're looking at. It's either called
Right.
Madison Avenue or Madison Avenue Man. Those are my two favorites off the album.
Yeah, I think this is I think this is much more mature songwriting,
Yeah,
getting more production. Well, we're throwing probably more money into it,
yeah.
better production. Greg's band is starting to gel here. I think they sound great. And
Hmm.
I was looking at the reviews for this record online, and for the most part, this got pretty good reviews.
Yeah.
This record didn't chart either,
Hmm.
but it's a fine record. I don't have any problem with it. Like I said, he's honing in his skills. If you want to get this record, in fact, I'm not sure what I'm going to look it up because I never looked this up to see if it ever came out on CD. I've never
No,
seen
all of
it
them
on
came out on
CD.
CD. All of them
They
came out on
all
CD
did.
online. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I've never seen one. Yeah, well, it had two CD versions. One came out on line in 1988, and in 91 it was reissued on Castle. Now, I haven't
Okay. I've
the
never seen the
Castle might
Castle.
have better mastering. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, now this album I think is uh how I was saying that I remember the first album being in the bins. This one I definitely remember seeing in the bins because
Mhm.
I would look at that album cover and when it was new and I'd be going, I can't figure out, what this what this is like.
Mhm.
And of course back then I wasn't buying I didn't really get into the, like I said, new wave and power pop and all that kind of stuff till 78. So this is still before I started diving into Greg Kihn, but this is an album I totally remember seeing in the bins when it first came out.
Yeah.
That's an album cover you don't forget.
No, makes an impression.
Yeah.
Uh, what else is going on? Being bold, it's birthday month. Yeah. Well, anyway, oh, I don't know. Oh, and didn't Joe Satriani play like the album from '86? I think he,
We'll get there.
but Joe Satriani, yes, he did play on a record. So, Nathan, nice to see you. Nice to see everybody here tonight. I appreciate everybody showing up, doing some Greg Kihn. Who's talking Greg Kihn? We are. So anyway, that's the second album. Let's go to 1978. So this is the first record under the Greg Kihn Band banner.
Actually, it is not.
Mexican.
It
It's
is the
not.
last album under his name. But again, I'm going to have to sort of give you a yes and a no on this. This is actually the first album where it sounded like the Greg Kihn Band that we know and love. Because the previous album still had some of the acoustic singer-songwritery stuff, but it was With the Naked Eye was the first album that was under the
Well,
Greg Kihn Band.
well, Discogs has the other records under the Greg Kihn name, and this is the first one under the Greg Kihn Band on
Yes,
Discogs.
yeah, yeah,
I don't know.
but it doesn't matter because it is the
Doesn't
Greg Kihn
matter.
Band.
It's the
Because
Greg Kihn Band.
yeah, because this is the band that became the Greg Kihn Band. This is the first sign of him being punky,
Hmm.
him having that new wave, that punky vibe. And this is the album. A great song in this album is called "Sorry," and my favorite. I'm not pointing out songs or going deep into the album. I'm throwing out songs so if people want to go and check those particular songs out, and if they like those songs, whatever. But "Sorry" is a great song off of this. Again, this is another album cover I totally remember seeing. Basically from here on, just because I'd be searching the bins and new Greg Kihn, new Greg Kihn. But uh, I don't think this is as impressive as Greg Kihn again, but it's still, and this is the first album with a pun title.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it's a pun
Yeah.
title. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, every album after that had that. So
Yeah.
but there's good song. Cold Hard Cash, gritty. Museum's a bit slower. Chinatown. I mean, great melody. I think, like I keep going to repeat myself, but I think the band seems to be much more confident here.
Yeah.
And I think Greg Kihn's lyrics are a little bit more sharp and witty. But I do think it's a step forward. You know, they're still, right now, they're like Sly and the Family Stone. They're on that upward, they're going up with each album, the way I look at it.
Yeah. See, the thing with Greg Kihn and his band is it was really, there was never one, it's not like you put on a Greg Kihn album and every song, oh yeah, okay, there's that sound, there's that sound, there's a sound. He was doing different stuff. He was doing the folky stuff, the punky stuff, and then you'd hear stuff that was definitely inspired by 50s and 60s rock, and then stuff that was inspired by new wave, and then another song that had sort of a reggae vibe to it. So they were just doing a bunch of stuff, and really putting out some fantastic records. I think that this is probably, out of the three that we've talked about, this is probably probably my favorite so far out of the three.
Right. But there's only, like 8 tracks, and it's just barely a half an hour. So this record goes pretty quick.
Yeah.
Is that good or bad? I don't know. This is the first one where he's writing all the songs, taking over for everything. I think it's a decent effort. I like it. I have no problem with it. Like I said, the band sounds more confident. I'm not exactly crazy about the album cover artwork. To me, that doesn't scream, "Hey, buy me."
Yeah, exactly. That screams like, oh, my girlfriend's a painter and she painted this picture of me. Oh, she's gonna get mad if I don't put this on the cover.
That's what we've got.
Yeah.
All right, next one. Now we're on to up 1980. Now, when I was doing the research, this is a record that I've never heard, and I want to go. Wait a minute, what are we at now?
Now we're going into With the Naked Eye.
Oh, you know what happened? Stupid thing. If anybody knows my trouble, one of the glitches in StreamYard.
Nobody knows the trouble I've seen.
No. I can load up all the images. I can be ready for a show. And I load up all the images. And then when I go back and I think everything's good, I go and look, and then there are images missing. So I didn't mean to jump from 78 to 79.
You mean 78 to 80?
78 to 80. But I got to find 1979. Well, yeah, just keep going. I can't. It's too much for me to do right now. But
With the Naked Eye, that's the first Greg Kihn Band album, actually billed as Greg Kihn Band. And this is the album where he does Jonathan Richman's Roadrunner. He does Rendezvous, which I believe was written by Springsteen for him. I could get that wrong, but it's got In the Naked Eye. It's got Getting Away with Murder. I think this one was even better than the last one. So out of the 4 albums, I mean, they just keep getting better. And this is a very strong album. This is an album that really has the Greg Kihn, it's almost like, okay, the singer-songwritery stuff, from the first couple albums. This is when it felt like a band. And coincidentally, this is when they started calling themselves the Greg Kihn Band. So very, very strong album.
Yeah, good record. Like you said, Springsteen cover pops up on this one. You've got Roadrunner, which is a great version of that track. Yeah, I know we're just going to say that a lot of the same thing over and over, but he keeps getting better and better. Yeah. And I do believe, did this chart at all? I think it might have. Did it chart? No, I don't think this charted yet. We don't really get a charting record until
81.
81. So I don't think this really did anything. I think it might have sold a little bit more, but he's getting more notoriety as they keep going. but it's not a bad record. I agree. This is probably the best effort so far. I don't have the graphic. I hate it that StreamYard does this, but things will just disappear. If anybody's watched the live show on Wednesday, someone will, oh, Grant, we need that graphic, and I'll go to find it, and it's gone.
Yeah.
Even though I load them up. It's
Yeah.
frustrating. All right, so that was 1979. We're on to 1980, and this is a record that, you know what? I've never seen this record in real life.
Really?
I've never seen it. For one, I don't think the cover is something that I would have noticed, and it doesn't look like a Greg Kihn Band album to me.
See, I think in my opinion, it's a very catchy cover. Unfortunately, it's sort of a step back. I mean, with the naked eye, I thought was a big leap forward. Glass House Rock has small changes in my favorite off that album, and I don't think the strongs or the songs are as good as on with the naked eye. But I mean, it's still a good record. But it was kind of a letdown after with the naked eye. But I can just go round and round and say the same thing. It's a good record, just not as good.
This one, I don't see any growth
right
on this record than what came before.
Yeah.
And so, we're just kind of leveling out.
Yeah.
But it's okay. I mean, it sounds like Greg Kihn. It's got that Greg Kihn-ness thing to it. For Your Love is on here, which is fine. Gene Pitney's song's on here. Who Shot Liberty Valance. Both cuts are done, and there's nothing really more to add to them. They're pretty much a straight take on them. Now, when I usually hear an album like this with two cover songs, that leads to me to believe that, well, maybe they needed a break. Maybe they were touring a lot. Maybe they were rushed into the studio. They didn't have enough tracks. I don't know, but like I said, they sound like they're treading water here.
Yeah,
it's okay.
In terms of like cover versions, he seemed to almost always do cover versions. Cover versions were a regular part of his studio and live sets, because he was always paying homage to the stuff that inspired him.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and
when they're on here with a little bit lackluster material, I think it makes, to me, when I see it, it just calls them out more.
Yeah,
but that's okay. It's okay. We can't these albums all can't be, 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5.
Exactly.
So now this is where I don't know what happened in that year. Maybe they put out this record just to, I don't know, tread water like we think. But the next year we go to Rockihnroll to 1981. And I'd say this is a pretty damn good record.
This is the one that should have come out after With the Naked Eye. When you're growing leaps and bounds, and all of a sudden Glass House Rock, it almost sounds like they weren't ready, and they go, well, you know what? We did record those songs last year and we never released them. Let's just put it out. With this album, this is just that leap forward again. You've got songs like the Breakup Song, which is, their first big hit. Can't Stop Hurting Myself. The Girl Most Likely is another favorite. Valerie. This is a strong album. This is a great rock and roll album, a melodic rock and roll album. And everybody in the band sounds much more confident. Really, really a fantastic album. And this is the one that really brought them into the limelight, and deservedly so.
Yeah, this is quite a leap from what came before. Because I think it sounds like the band's really comfortable. I think they enjoy the material. It comes off like the band is really enjoying the recording. It sounds like they're in a good spot.
Yeah.
And when you have songs, like you said, Valerie, Breakup Song, Sheila, Nothing's Gonna Change, The Girl Most Likely. Holy crap. There is full of great songs.
Well, the band had originally been 4 members, and even though Gary Phillips had worked with him like on the first album, and I think he he'd been friends with them through the whole thing. He actually joined on the band, so this is the first album that they're a quintet, and that may have reinvigorated them as well. Maybe because Gary Phillips is a very talented musician, producer. He could have had a big influence on pushing those songs, making them go harder. Greg wrote with a lot of people. I think that a lot of great songs have Steve Wright, the bass player, co-writing. Some of them maybe have Larry Lynch co-writing and stuff, but this is just a friggin' strong record.
Yeah, it's much more polished. Jeopardy.
Yeah.
I mean, the Breakup Song was a big hit. So was Jeopardy.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
But this actually charted. So things are looking up for the Greg Kihn Band. I do want to mention I was looking over here in Discogs to see this had to have come out on CD.
It did.
And Beserkley actually put it out in the US.
Yeah.
When did they put it out? There aren't any for sale. Obviously, it's out of print. It last sold August of this year for $45, just to keep people evidently want it. There are none up for sale now, but the highest it went for was $161. And I remember seeing this back in when did this come out? When did the CD come out? I don't know. It doesn't have a year, but it was like the late 80s, I think. I haven't seen it since then.
Yeah, all this stuff came out online in late 80s. And then Beserkley did put out a few, and maybe I'm wrong about Wood Nickel. Maybe it was Beserkley, but distributed by somebody else. But the thing is, like I said, I had all this stuff, and I regret. I mean, I wouldn't change my life, but I do regret having to get rid of them. I have some compilations. I have about 3 or 4 different Greg Kihn compilations, and all of them have a couple songs that aren't on the other ones.
If you're trying to get some Greg Kihn on CD, so it's almost like, wow, you kind of need all the comps. There's just not anything out there,
Yeah. So you think about beginning here. Now I want all of this on CD again. But beginning here, I want every album that we're going to talk about. Those are the ones that I have been searching for from here up to Love and Rock and Roll, that I just can't afford them.
I'm going to plead to either Wounded Bird or Rock Candy. Somebody contact the Greg Kihn Trust or something.
I already tried when he was alive.
Yeah, but
people were like, huh? I don't think people realize just how. See, this is the thing about, and I'm not sure about your viewers or my viewers, is sometimes, oh God, I hate that Jeopardy song, or oh, I was so sick of that song when it came out, whatever. And that's what they think that all the Greg Kihn albums sounds like. But no, when you listen to Greg Kihn, like I said, you're getting a smorgasbord of just, it's all the same band. You can tell that. But they're trying different things. So there was no song on this album that sounded just like Breakup Song.
The Hunt, Steve. People are talking about The Hunt.
I cannot. I'm never ever going to listen to that.
For those that like The Hunt, the Dillinger CD came today. For those who know all about that.
I'm not going to get sucked into all that nonsense.
You're going to get sucked into it, Steve. You're getting sucked into it right now. Anyway, The Hunt.
I don't think I've ever hated a band as much as I hate The Hunt, and I've never heard them. It's just that every stream I'm ever on, people bring them up.
Is Dan here? Hey, Dan, did you see that Dillinger?
Yeah. Gary Phillips was an Earthquake along with Robbie Dunbar. Yeah.
Did we sell out all the Hunt CDs online? Evidently, they're all gone now. There aren't any left.
Thank goodness.
Our work is done here.
I would even, I'm not a big fan of MOD, manufactured on demand, like through Amazon. I would even buy all the Greg Kihn on CDR.
See, BM, he's sick of hearing about The Hunt.
Yeah, it's like, geez Louise.
I love it. Dan, we're gonna do Dillinger when Pete gets his, so don't worry about it. We're gonna do a Dillinger show. So give us some time. Yeah. Well, anyway, back to, sorry, we were on a tangent,
Yes,
but we're
I do.
live and we're talking music. Long as we're
I do
talking
have that
music,
one,
we're
Steven.
good. Hey, let's talk about politics. I don't do
No.
that.
No politics, no religion, no sports.
We don't do that. We're strictly music on this channel. Same
Yeah.
with Schnee's channel, all about the music. So that's 1981, a great record. Let's jump to 1982, Kihntinued. Now,
Literally, no, go ahead.
Kihntinued, literally continued. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, literally, this is, hey, we did great on the last album. Let's do it again. There's nothing like the Breakup Song, but this is yet another great collection of guitar pop songs. I mean, it is, you've got Happy Man, Every Love Song, Everyday Saturday, or on some records it's called Everyday /Saturday. Other things I've seen, it's called Every Day is Saturday Night. Testify. This is almost as great as
Rock and Roll.
Yeah, Rock and Roll.
And I would give Rock and Roll a 5. That's a 5-star album. This is probably a 4.5.
Yeah.
It is Steve Schnee for president. It's almost as good. They knew that they were onto something, you know. Here we go. George continues, definitely top favorite. With due respect, it is absolutely fabulous.
Yeah, it is.
Speaking of The Hunt, Kyle's never heard The Hunt. But have you heard of Dillinger?
Okay, look, okay. Let's not talk about politics, religion, sports, or The Hunt. Okay?
Oh God, it's so funny. All right, but anyway, this is there any particular tracks that you were the whole thing's good. I mean, what am I gonna say? Everyday Saturday, Testify.
Yep. Every Love Song has that reggae vibe. Happy Man's a great opener.
Mm-hmm. It's a great record. 4.5 stars. If you can find it, it only came out. Look, I can't believe it. This only got that CD release in 1987 in Germany. Never came out here. What the hell? I just don't understand. Please, Wounded Bird, Rock Candy, somebody, Cherry Red. Somebody get this Greg Kihn catalog reissued.
I have to email Terry at Wounded Bird tonight or tomorrow. So I'm going to throw it at him. But
since
Greg
he's passed away, now's the time to do it.
Yeah, well, but Greg,
I know it sounds terrible.
I think you have to hit up the estate of Greg Kihn. I should actually go to the website because he has a website, and I think that Best of the Beserkley years is. I mean, even the compilations are out of print. I mean, I've got 3 or 4 compilations, and even those, there's still another 3 or 4 on top of that. There's even like a 5 CD box set out there that's just all radio broadcasts. I mean, I've looked on, the thing is I can't afford, or I can barely afford a regular CD, let alone $100 Greg Kihn CD. So I keep saying I'd trade stuff from my collection for this stuff if people wanted to. Otherwise, I'm going to put some stuff up for sale and see if I can track down some Greg Kihn. But I'm going to hit some labels up again because some of the labels never contacted me after I told them. I said, he owns it. Contact him. So we'll see what happens.
Unfortunately, Starman says sometimes it takes the artist to pass away for these companies to finally give their music the releases they deserve. Yeah, unfortunately, yes. But if there's ever a time to reissue the Greg Kihn catalog, now's the time. So I plead with any of these companies. Anybody sees this, please.
Yeah.
Maybe Mr. Schnee can work some magic. Very well said, Starman. But it deserves. That's why we're looking at it. Give Greg some props. Okay.
Yeah, and this is and this is an artist, Grant, that you and I should have talked about a long time ago.
I know.
Because it's right up our alley, of course, since we both dig him. But there's so many artists for us to talk about that it's hard to,
Yeah. Well, I appreciate everybody watching this show. That means you care. And here we go. Even a BGO twofer.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, there's one thing about BGO. I'm going to go on not a rant, but working on the show for, we're going to do Poco on Sea of Tranquility. So I've been getting those Poco twofers. Okay. Studying getting these Poco twofers on BGO.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, did these sound absolutely glorious. Every time I've bought something off of BGO, these twofers or whatever, the Angel CD sounds great. This sounds phenomenal. It's nice and warm. Beautiful. But yes, BGO would be a great. Is that the cherry red one?
Somebody sent me that. Yeah.
That's the cherry red one.
That's the cherry red one. Yeah, I just have to put it in a jewel case. Isn't that amazing?
But
I'm
very jealous.
Thank you.
Because I've been trying to get that. Okay, I know we're live. I know we're on a tangent. I got to finish my thought because we're just talking. I ordered that off a guy in the UK because we were doing the show when we did that, and I was going to order it, and I found it, and it was a decent price. It was like $70 maybe. It got lost.
Oh.
It couldn't find my house. He put the wrong address in. It went back to the UK. I never got it. He refunded my money, I said, and I was waiting practically 2 months to get it. Because it got lost. They couldn't find it. It sat in Chicago forever before it went back. So I never got it.
Oh, that sucks.
And it's a rare one because I don't think it was in print very long.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a stinky album overall, but
still, if you're a completist, you kind of need it.
I'm a completist. So,
so anyway, so we'll get back to it. You have to understand, we're just talking music. We can't help it.
Yeah. See, Omnivore did the Jonathan Richman Beserkley stuff. So I believe they were the last people, probably about 6 months or a year ago. I mentioned you guys should do the Greg Kihn.
DC, don't let the DeFranco family die before you give them their due. Good point.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know. You might have a point. I don't think anybody cares about the DeFranco family, though.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. What's this, Ken? I'm going to see you guys on the Chameleons bandwagon. Fantastic UK band in the early 80s. Great, unique sound, unlike anyone else. I think that's Martin's favorite band, or the Chameleons.
I love the Chameleons. In fact, I hung out with Mark Burgess and gave him a bunch of my personal Twin Peaks stuff back in the early 90s. And I especially love that first album. I love songs off the second album and third album. And, I like the other stuff as well. Sun on the Moon, Mark Burgess and the something or others. But I mean, I'm not a hardcore fan.
Right. Great records, though. There's not anything weak on them either.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
That's a different show.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Back to the main program. But I like going on tangents. You know that because I just want to talk music. So it doesn't matter. My show, I don't care. Chameleons are great. I've got 2 of their CDs, so I think they're great. But anyway, this is a great record. I give this 4.5 stars. Top notch. After this one, we go to Kihnspiracy, 1983. Now this record, I saw all the time. Even in the used bins, this was around quite a bit. Of course, this has Jeopardy on it.
See, Jeopardy was an anomaly. Sounded nothing like Greg Kihn in the past. Had more of a funky vibe. As a Greg Kihn song, I'm not a big fan of it. As a pop song, I think it's great. But it was just so different.
It's a dance song.
Yeah, it's a dance song. But he pulls it off really well. I mean,
it sounds great. The production is killer. It's very professional sounding. There's no rough edges on it. It's a single. Obviously, it's a hit single. You hear it, hit single written all over it. But there's a lot of great songs on here. I don't know if it's quite as good as the previous record. It's up there, but
there are songs like the previous records, but there's also a couple songs that are not quite Jeopardy, but are kind of like, hey, let's try. They were almost like the songs recorded before Jeopardy. Them sort of trying out that sort of dancey, but they didn't quite get to the Jeopardy. And it sounds like Jeopardy was a song that maybe out of those 3 songs, they said, hey, let's add more to the song and really boost the song up. This sounds like a hit.
Yeah.
And it was. It
I
certainly
have
was.
no problem with it. It's a great
Yeah.
record. And again, it should be released. All this stuff's out of print. It just kills me.
Fascination is a great song.
Tear That City Down.
Someday.
Talking to Myself.
Oh,
Love
man.
Never Fails. Come on.
Yeah.
It's a great record.
Yeah.
I don't think it's quite as great as the 2 previous, but it's right there. It's right there, Steve.
But on
I'll
this
take
album, on this album, they had a new guitar player, Greg Douglas. Dave Carpenter, who had been with them, who had been playing with him since the first album, left. And he was like, he was the lead guitar player. So they had a new guitar player. Like I said, Gary Phillips is on keyboards too. So bringing in that new guy, they were probably trying out new things. Maybe Dave Carpenter didn't want to go into this funky direction, and maybe Greg Kihn and the label said, "Hey, let's do this," and they brought in Greg Douglas to play guitar.
You mentioned the label Wounded Hill.
Wounded Hill.
They put out a version of Kihnspiracy in 1987. Castle put out a version in 1991. Beserkley in Germany put one out in 87, and it finally came out in the US. I don't know what year, but I'm certain it probably all came out around the same time. It finally did get a US release.
Yes.
So, oh my God. I'm looking online. There are 2 copies starting at $80.
Yeah.
But this, to me, means these need a re-release.
People might go like, "Oh, it's just because he recently died." No, I have been trying to get a hold of these CDs for at least 5 to 7 years, and have never seen them for anything less than $7,500. I don't have that kind of money. I'm not made of money like Grant is,
Right.
where you can afford those fancy hats.
Exactly. Well,
I just have to, glue my toupee on and
hats with my logo.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have a hat with logo?
No, but I don't wear hats anyway.
Well, you don't have to.
Yeah.
People don't want to look at me like.
Well, they like you more than me. I mean,
Obviously.
if we had the girls trying to choose between the 2 of us, you'd always get 100% of the votes, and I would just be ashamed and embarrassed.
All right.
That's the way it always is. Especially when I go to Chippendales and try to get up there and do the moves.
George is for a reissue campaign.
Yeah, I wish.
Starmy, I know that feeling too often. Out of print, expensive. I don't own any Thin Lizzy because there's so many albums, and the deluxe 2 CD versions are $60 and up.
Yeah.
BM Bolt, you'll never see them. I haven't seen any of these in years, not since the 80s.
Some people will get lucky.
Oh, I would love to do a Marshall Crenshaw ranking show. I love Marshall Crenshaw. It'd be hard for me to rank, though. If there's one artist that would be hard for me to rank, it would be Marshall Crenshaw.
I'd know what number 1 and 2 are.
Yeah, but the rest would be very difficult. For me, it would be, because I love all of them.
Yeah. You really need to get the Robert Crenshaw albums too.
Yeah, I don't have those.
Yeah, you should, because he sounds a lot like Marshall.
Can you secure the rights to some Greg Kihn videos and
No.
put them on Schnee TV? Come on.
I wish I could.
Your fan base demands it.
You know what I'm thinking about doing is one day just doing a live Schnee TV, and just doing like a half hour with 80s videos.
Do it.
Nothing that I'm going to advertise.
Though.
Go live.
Just do it.
Yeah.
I agree. Your best stuff's live. It is.
Yeah.
You're better live. You're a live host. Nothing better than doing a live show. I don't get a rush off the recording shows anymore. I still get a rush out of going live and doing these live shows. I could do my whole channel live, and I would Way to do it. I love it. So
I don't think I could do a lot like, because I cut up or I create the medleys and all that kind of stuff. So
well, you can you can do it.
you know.
I know how to do it.
Oh,
You take my class, Stephen Schnee. We could. Oh, I need that too.
I know. I'll set it aside for you.
Oh, here we go. I only know now we're talking about Marshall Crenshaw. I only know 2 Crenshaw songs: "Starless Summer Sky" and "Someday Someway."
But they're great.
Both great.
Mm-hmm.
A Marshall Crenshaw retrospective would be. We could probably muster that up. Are you game for that?
A game with an M, yeah.
All right, we'll talk about it because our people are speaking. They want it. So what do you do? Live interaction shows are always best. Yeah, because I like to talk to everybody.
See,
I like to talk to everybody out there when we're doing a show.
See, I love to talk to everybody, but you see, you already have. I mean, when you go live, bingo, you've got a bunch of people, logging in. I don't necessarily have a lot of people logging in, so that's kind of why. See, I think Raymond, I think that Greg Kihn got the rights back to his stuff. He digitally remastered them. He put out a best of, but never released the albums on CD. He did release them digitally. So I think his estate owns the rights to them. Not 100% sure, but it sure seems like it. So
not sure if he's up your alley, but I'd like to see a program in this format doing Matthew's sweet discography. Starman, are you not a subscriber to my channel? There's a year-long series on my channel that we go through the entire Matthew Sweet catalog.
He said in this format.
Oh, nah, I can't do Matthew Sweet in an hour.
I was in Matthew Sweet on the first 2 albums, and then after that I was done.
I wasn't. Love Matthew.
My favorite Matthew Sweet. Oh, no. Has nothing to do with whether I think he's good or not. It's just everybody's got into him on like Girlfriend and stuff, to the point where like, okay, I can hear my friends play it and all that kind of stuff. So, you know me, it's like if somebody's getting into Blur and Oasis, I'm going to buy My Life Story and The Family Cat because everyone else gets to, some other stuff. Tommy Two-Tone, I'd bet for Tommy Two-Tone.
Yeah, we can do that. I'll get something on the schedule. Schnee and I can do these. No big deal. We'll do retrospectives on them.
I want to do Adam Ant, Boomtown Rats.
Oh, we got a whole list to do.
I also want to just talk music and Schnee TV.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get DC involved in that. Anybody who wants
We're
to
going to do that. I'm going to have to I'm just going to have to talk to you. We're just going to have to book dates.
Yeah.
I just can't. There's too much. And if we don't book them, even though we could change them later, if I don't book them, I could forget. I just need to get them in the book. You know what I mean?
Book them, Granto.
Book them. All right. So anyway, 1983, great record. Now we're going to go to 1984 with Kihntagious.
One of my favorites.
One of your favorites. And now this one doesn't get quite a good review as the previous records.
Doesn't matter if it gets a good review. It's one of my favorites. I'm just
throwing it out. We all hear the stuff differently. I'm just throwing it out.
I think this is a fantastic record. One Thing About Love, Worst That Could Happen, Reunited, which I didn't really care for at first, but after about 2 or 3 listens, it started hitting me. One of my all-time favorite Greg Kihn songs is on this album called Makeup. And then there's a song that I love and hate at the same time, and it's called Rock, because it's a great song, but it sounds like the label says, we need another Jeopardy. So he said, well, I don't have another Jeopardy. So he just took an existing great Greg Kihn song and added kind of a Jeopardy vibe to it. But I think this album as a whole is better than the album before. As a whole. Yeah. I'd
probably give it 4 out of 5.
Mm-hmm.
It's not quite. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, what would you give Kihnspiracy?
Reunited's great, huh?
What would you give Kihnspiracy?
Let me look at my list. I give Kihnspiracy, I'd give a 4.5, probably.
Okay.
I think Rockihnroll is the pinnacle.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
And then Kihnspiracy's a 4.5. Kihntagious is a 4.5. No. There's all these Kihn records. The names are driving me crazy.
It's fucking annoying.
Rockihnroll is a 5. Kihntinued is a 4.5. Kihnspiracy is a 4.5, and Kihntinued.
No, you already said continued.
That's because there's too many albums with Kihn. This record,
it
that's the picture that's
right.
up is 4. I give it a 4 out of 5.
Okay, I do love this record. I don't think it's as great as Rockihnroll. I'm with you. Rockihnroll is a 5. Kihntinued, I believe, is a 4.5. I believe that Kihnspiracy is probably a 4, and this is a 4.5.
So we just have them flipped.
Yeah.
To me, that means there's not much difference between them. They're all worth getting.
Yeah.
All worth listening to. And I would say if you even were getting to the catalog, start with those 4.
Yeah.
And then either work your way backward
Mm-hmm.
or work yourself way forward. We're getting through it. So it's up to you. So now I'd probably go backward, I think. Now we're going to go to 1985, Citizen Kihn. Now it's just the Greg Kihn. It's not the Greg Kihn Band.
And
he
he's
shifted
off of
over.
Beserkley.
He's on Capitol.
Yeah.
We're on a major label finally.
Yep.
But
now,
what's your thoughts?
Well, he does have 3 members of the Greg Kihn Band, which is him, Greg Douglas, who would replace Dave Carpenter, and Steve Wright is still with him, bass player and co-songwriter. New drummer, Tyler Eng. This is an album where hey, it's the 80s, more keyboards. Let's go to keyboards.
More commercial.
But damn, the songs are good. So many great songs. This I'm in Love Again is great. Lucky is one of my favorite songs. Whenever is a great ballad. Free Country is a great song. One of my favorite Greg Kihn songs is Boys Won't Leave the Girls Alone. That's on here. I think the album has a couple songs which bring it down to a 4. But song-wise, I think this is fantastic.
Yeah, I think the song, I can't say much more than what you've said. I think it's fantastic. A little bit more posh, a little bit more commercial. That's all right. I don't have a problem with that. And this is 1987.
No, this
86.
This is 85.
85. I would have thought that this would have came out on CD, but no, it did not. It only came out on vinyl.
I used to have it on CD. Oh, no. Originally,
it came out in Germany in 88 when all the other ones came out.
Correct.
But you would have thought in the quote unquote CD age, it might have got a release. But again, I never saw it. I've only seen it on vinyl. But I agree. I think this is, I'd give this 4 stars.
Yeah.
It's great. It's a little bit different, but it's fine. You know, he's growing. They're changing. I don't have a problem. The song Lucky was a top 40 hit. I should mention that. So the hits are still coming.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I really love this album.
So we're going up to 1986. So the final album we're going to look at is Love and Rock and Roll from 1986. And I remember seeing this all the time when it came out.
The thing about this record is it was sold as a Greg Kihn album, but he's got the band on the cover. So it's really a Greg Kihn Band album, but it's a new band. So Steve Wright is still there. Tyler Eng is there on drums. This is the album that features Joe Satriani on lead guitar. Joe Satriani, I think he had been in a sort of a power or harder edge power pop band called the Squares.
Did they put out anything?
Yes. I still haven't bought the CD, but it's available to both domestic and import. It's the same 10 tracks or something.
BM Bolt, do you have that since you're Joe Satriani aficionado? Words are hard, Steve. I can barely talk.
But this, I think this is back to a live band sound. I think that he was out of place. He sounds great on the album, but like when you read, was it Little Red Book? That lead guitar is way heavier than what should be on a Greg Kihn album. And but still, this is the tour that I saw him on. So I saw this band I saw Joe Satriani, and I remember they opened with Jailhouse Rock. And I remember right after it, Greg Kihn turned to the band and just going, "That sounded great," whatever. And then, but yeah, Joe Satriani totally out of place. What an incredible guitar player! But I see this thing about people don't realize about Greg Kihn is the fact that he was always trying something new. There's always something on his albums that was different than the other ones, like Jeopardy. It's got that more of that funky beat to it, even though it was present, sort of maybe underlying on some of the other albums. But he would bring this stuff to the fore. I think that he really wanted a real tough band, and he got it with Satriani and guitar.
I think it's, well, I must be honest on this record. I think this is a great record.
Oh, absolutely. I love it.
One of his finest efforts since that original batch that came in the mid 80s. I'm going out on a limb. Great songwriting on this record. It never got any notoriety.
Nothing.
Because no one cared by this time.
Yeah.
I think Greg had his moment, but I think overall his catalog, he really did improve. Maybe the last album not quite as good, but this is right up there with any of that material in the mid 80s. I think so. That's my opinion.
This is the mid 80s. 86 is mid 80s.
Well, I mean
early.
I mean early. God, sorry. I'm like stuck in time.
Yeah.
Back when this came out, his old albums, that was a long time ago. Now I look at it and everything's just all.
Yeah. No, this is a super strong record.
Super.
It's a live sounding band. You've got the title track. That's another thing about Greg Kihn is he would adopt these, different voices sometimes. So like most of his songs were sung in that classic raspy voice, but sometimes, he'd be going, he'd like be bringing his voice down and doing like a little Elvis, whatever, just for fun. His songs were totally playful. Wild in Love with You is incredible off of this. One of my favorite Greg Kihn songs on this album is called "It's Okay to Cry." I mean, this is just solid.
People are coming up with album names. Jesus, what have we started here? Yeah, it's.
Actually,
I think this is as good as record of Kihnspiracy. I'll go out on that. It's just as good. Sounds a little bit different, but I think it's just as good.
Yeah, I mean, I think that sometimes with Citizen Kihn and Love and Rock and Roll, I think they're both on the same level because there's a couple things I don't like on Citizen Kihn, a couple things I don't like on Love and Rock and Roll. But sometimes people ask me, "Well, how come your favorite album has some songs you don't like on it?" And it's like the Mona Lisa has cracks. You know what I mean? Just
good point.
To you, it's a perfect piece of art, including its faults. So I love these albums. I mean, absolutely love these Greg Kihn albums. Highly underrated, highly overlooked. I'm glad he had hits. So, hopefully he was with all those 80s comps and using songs for commercials and stuff like that. I hope that he was making money up until his death of Alzheimer's, which is really sad.
Yeah.
I have to admit that, I never paid attention to ages and stuff like that. I was kind of surprised he was 75. He was a good 10 years older than, or 7 years older than most people who were coming out at that time. But then again, he was putting out records in 76. So
correct. So I think he had a.
I think he had a muted cough.
I had a muted sneeze.
Oh, okay.
So I was looking this up because this came out on EMI America in 86. Now you would have thought this would have had a CD release. Yeah. And it did, but it was that batch that
in Germany,
Beserkley in Germany and Kassel.
You know,
in
there's some
91, but
there's some
never came out here.
there's some record store in Germany that just has them in the bin, and they're sitting there for, 3 Schneekhausens, or whatever their money is over there.
Schnackhausens.
I don't know. Uh, and here we are, willing to pay, like, oh my god, I want that so bad, and it's just sitting in a pile of dust somewhere, in any part of this world. I mean, like I said, I would love anything from rock and roll up to love and rock and roll to add to my collection. Like the comps are going to have to do for now. I just hate the fact of having to pay $9.99 and just get a friggin' download. But how stupid is that? I could pay $9.99. Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, oh, absolutely your name.
Yeah.
I think
if they did box sets around anymore.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, if think about it. If we didn't have BGO, we didn't have Cherry Red. No one's doing anything over here in the States. You can't license anything. They don't let any. They have different licensing rules. What's that on?
It's a 4 CD set on Warner Brothers.
Well, that's Warner Brothers, but they don't do anything. Rhino's dead.
No, I'm sorry, it's Rhino.
Yeah, but Rhino's really dead. There's really no Rhino anymore. It's not the Rhino of days ago where they used to have all kinds of cool box sets and cool releases. Once they got bought up by Warner Brothers, they were dead. Now they were cool when I'm going to rant. They were great when they had the Rhino handmade stuff. That was wonderful.
Yeah.
But it's a joke now. No offense. I'm sure. And now they're trying to get into audiophile records. It's just, I know. Come on. Open up Rhino Handmade again. Do something like that. But I don't get it.
Here's the thing about a lot of Demon Edsel is another great label.
Great.
Omnivore,
label.
Wounded
Great.
Bird. Here's the thing about like the audiophile things is how many times are you going to put out friggin' Giant Steps? How many times are you going to put out
Kind of Blue,
or Bitches Brew, or not Bitches Brew. I guess that's not that popular of an album. But you just keep putting the same albums out. Oh, well, here it is on 245 RPMs. Oh, here it is on 480 degree vinyl. Oh, here it is with Lady Bird Johnson's nipples blended into the wax. Why did I just think of Lady Bird Johnson's nipples?
Well, they are kind of nice.
Oh, yeah, I know. I was just going to say that. I know what I'm going to do when I get off this.
I know we're not talking Greg Kihn, but we have to talk. I think most of the Rhino stuff now, even though I think they own the catalog or have been licensed to Friday Music, I don't even think
Friday Music.
But I don't think any of the CDs are in print anymore, which I can't imagine. I don't think so. They'll put out press vinyl. They brought out Head on vinyl.
Right.
Here, Lady Bird Johnson. See, when you said Lady Bird Johnson, DC perked up because that's his contemporary.
I know. Oh, Lord.
Real Gone is doing mostly vinyl. Huh?
Yes, I just got contacted by Real Gone is putting out, I think it's a 2 CD set with 3 Frankie Stein albums. There's those like horror, like a 50s instrumental band doing these really cool instrumentals that are horror themed or whatever. So I'm kind of happy about that.
Oh, I just saw Kind of Blue Goodwill for 59 cents. It was a CD on one side and DVD on the other. I left it. I have the Super Audio CD.
See, I'm not
definitely worth 59 cents.
Yeah, I'm not knocking any of this stuff.
No, I'm not either.
But how many versions do you have to put out?
Well, when you listen to a lot of these audiophiles nitpick over the box and nitpick, well, I did hear it was a bit noisy on track 2. Well, it is because you're playing a damn piece of vinyl.
Yeah.
And they go on and on about it. But the thing is, I'm not crapping on it. Everybody has a hobby. I have tons of vinyl.
No,
Tons.
I meant Ladybird, just because it was just out there. Who am I going to choose that's out there?
I think Lady Bird's nipples are now, I would believe that she is one with nature now.
Yeah.
Rhino owns the Monkeys trademark and catalog, but they do things spirally. Yeah, why?
Yeah.
Because people I don't think care anymore. Has a new 2 LP expanded headquarters. Whoopee, I've got the expanded version of what's it? The new one's like 4 CDs or 3 CDs. It's out of print now. They sold it on the Monkeys site. I got that.
Yeah.
And I've got the one that Monkeys Sessions. I've got that. I've got everything you can possibly get. She was a saucy lass.
R.I.P. Ladybird. I apologize. But hey, Grant,
BM, I actually found Tool 1,000 Days at Goodwill. Yeah,
Grant,
I believe that. Yeah.
who's talking Ladybird Johnson? We are.
Only us. On a damn Greg Kihn show.
I know.
You're a sick man, Schnee. Jeff says you're sick.
Thank you.
We got Starman all worked up. Real Gone is a great label, but they definitely shifting away from both CDs and the music I mainly enjoy.
Yeah.
But always high quality. Always take care to detail.
Absolutely.
I only have the CDs, but the Doug Feiger stuff, the Dick Wagner CD's great. They still have sales, and I got a whole slew of things for like $10, or was it $20?
They do the greatest Christmas reissues.
Yeah.
And I'm a big Christmas fan, so
Rhino did a good job with the replacements reissue boxes. Yeah,
and also the Ramones boxes.
Yeah.
They did a great job.
Lady Bird enjoyed Lyndon Johnson. DC, you're bad. This is a family show.
What have I started?
Rhino is a shell of its former self. It is.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Rhino is just there in name.
Yeah, it is.
Well, you see, I mean, the thing is about, look, somebody like, okay, folks, go up. The main reason I stick with CDs, okay, this is called 20th Century Lindsay. It's a 4 CD Lindsey Buckingham collection. It has his first 3 solo albums and then a bonus disc with non-album tracks. Okay.
Who's talking Mary Todd Lincoln?
Yeah, we are.
We are.
Go up and check what this is selling for on CD and then what it's selling for on vinyl. That'll tell you right there why I stick with CD.
Exactly. Case closed. I use Sony Blu-ray players. They play Super Audio CDs. Well, I've got a Super Audio CD Sony player. So there.
Whoop-de-doo, Grant. I think that's the first time I've said whoop-de-doo in
better
years.
Question. Who's talking about Lady Bird's nipples? We are. Ursa Major, Grant. I can't dispute any. Starman's talkative tonight.
Yeah,
I can't dispute anything about the quality of Real Gone, but I miss when they did more obscure 60s and 70s stuff instead of the various movie soundtracks on colored vinyl.
Let's go back to Rebellin. Rebellin, a great, great, great label.
Yes.
Did such masterful work on
wonderful audiophile sound.
Yes.
Scott took care. He cared. He remastered them to sound just as good as anything, not brick walled, dynamic range intact, beautiful stuff. Go ahead. I love, I've got practically everything Rebellin has put out. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah. I love, this upsets me though.
No, now Rebellin is gone. Rebellin, Scott folded the label because
unfortunately
of just constant issues with licensing and all this kind of stuff. And I think from what I've heard from him and from what I've heard by other people, labels are a lot less likely to license things to third party.
Mm-hmm.
they'd rather let it sit there and not do anything, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. You know, you've got all this great, wonderful music. I mean, I would love to have started a label and done some reissues. I couldn't, I've talked about Blanket of Secrecy here. I think that's an album everybody needs to hear. You can go listen to it digitally, I think on Spotify as well, but it's an album that never made it officially on CD. I do have a bootleg of it.
Sorry, Maureen.
And that's and that's something that a little mini label like a Cherry Red or Omnivore or something. That's something that one of those labels would have done, perhaps, but just the whole cost of licensing and the whole thing about the labels not getting back to you on things is frustrating for everybody. I'm so glad that Cherry Red and Demon have such a great relationship over in the UK. I'm referring to American.
It's easier to license stuff over there.
Yeah.
It's not as strict. That's why these labels over there, BGO, Cherry Red, they're just, they have a record industry over there. They have a reissue. I got to get that box
10 CD set. It's not out yet.
I know, but I can pre-order it.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
or did I pre-order it? Oh, no. No, I already pre-ordered it. I remember when we were talking about it one day, and I'm just going to do it because I got to have it.
Then Jericho has a box set.
But the Linovich came out. It's sold out, and I was able to get that box set, which is mastered by Scott from Rubellin. Sounds absolutely wonderful. He did all the work on that. The Linovich, absolutely stunning box set on Cherry Red. You should get it while you can get it. Wonderful. But Rubellin, okay, I'm just going to say this. If you guys can go over, if you're looking for some reissue CDs, Rubellin, he's probably having a sale on stuff. You should probably go over.
Yeah.
Go over to his site and go see what's available, and you won't be sorry on any of the releases over there. I don't have anything to do with Rubellin. It just kills me that we had such a great label that was doing great work, and the licensing people just don't give a shit, and the companies just don't care. And if someone wants to license something, license it. You're a company.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. And all he's had was problems and problems and problems. And to lose a reissue label, it just breaks my heart because there's such great stuff that he put out that you may never ever see it in print again. Those Oingo Boingo releases, top notch.
Absolutely.
Top notch.
Absolutely.
I don't know what's available yet.
And the prices are just going to skyrocket.
Yeah. Go over to his site and go buy something. Help him out. It was a labor of love, and
he lost money on that label.
He lost money, and it's all great stuff.
Go to RubellinRemasters.com. Tell him Grant and Steve sent you, and he still has a bunch of stuff in stock there. Unfortunately, there are things that I want that are out of print, like the first two Berlin.
Yeah, I've got those.
I think all the Missing Persons are now out of print, but
all the Missing Persons is out of print, and they're wonderful. I've got the box set. Wonderful.
Yes, so do I. Hey, Brinley, I might need to part with. I need money. So.
For the Visage.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're expensive. I've got two of them. I didn't get the other. I'm missing one. But I found the other one in Chicago for like $5. So I really don't need the Rubellin version, but I did find an original. It was like $5, so I'm good with that. But
yeah,
great stuff. I don't mean to go on a rant, but it does kind of upset me when you have a great reissue label and you're trying to make it work, and the product is so good. I don't know. It just bums me out.
And it's frustrating for me because I work in the industry, but I can't do anything to help Scott. I can't do anything to help anybody.
Yeah, I think
And
so, Jeffrey.
but Jeffrey, also, I think that in the next 5 years, we're going to be losing the people that care about this stuff as well. Us,
Yeah.
you
Well,
know.
look at, okay, good point, because I look at my demographics,
Mhm.
they're all our age. Everybody's watching our show. We might have young Logan watch, who's young. We might have some people, Starman's young. We have some young people, but most of it are people that, well, let's be honest. When we're gone, who's going to care about it?
Yeah.
I figure what our work that we're doing, Steve, is leaving a legacy. Well, for one, my kids can come back and go, oh, well, Dad's up on YouTube. Dad's wearing a dirt shirt, but I can go see him on YouTube. He's up there yapping. But still, we're
Wearing
trying
a
to
dirt shirt. Never
we're
heard that.
trying to talk about these bands, talk about these artists that need more awareness, need more love, need more. Someone needs to talk about it. Someone needs to document it.
Yeah.
This Greg Kihn catalog needs to be released. Someone needs to step up.
Yeah.
It's a great catalog, and Greg Kihn's just going to go through the wayside. No one will ever know who he is. And
like I said, I have
what can we do though?
Not just in the last week since he passed away, but I've been trying the last several years telling people, and guess what? I really, really, really think that it's probably a lot of selfishness because I want the stuff on CD.
I know.
But still, it's not really about selfishness too, because I want people to have access to this great music. And why do you think that we get on here and talk about stuff? As I was dialing up or, hit the button or whatever and was coming up, right before the show, I started thinking, I need those times to just talk about music with people.
Right.
And, but just not you in DC. No, not really.
Well,
No.
but we have a good community here. You've got a great
Yeah.
community over, Ski Lodge.
Mhm.
And,
Mhm.
a lot of everybody, there's a lot of crossover. And it's
See,
just a
Brindley.
great community for everybody to talk music.
Brindley.
That's all about, yeah.
Okay, do you know Brindley at all?
Well, yeah, he was going to do I was going to have him on, never got it together.
If nobody knows Brindley, and I know he hates when I go on my Brindley rants, but this kid literally is like just out of high school. This guy knows more about music than 90% of the 60-year-olds that I know. This guy knows more about music than I do.
So does Logan's another one. He knows about he's 20. He knows all about these, like the band Toe Fat, all these obscure bands he knows about. He's like Starman.
Yeah, but doesn't Logan just listen to crap?
He listens to all kinds of stuff.
I know.
Well,
I'm kidding.
I don't think that's a fair assumption.
No, I know.
You can't call someone else.
Marlon's
I'll talk
one that listens to
anything.
crap music.
Yeah, it's Marlon. And where is he? He's not here, is he?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, but
yeah,
it's all good. I'll talk about anything.
Yeah.
Ken White, I think Schnee dreams in CDs.
No, I'm never. Well,
let me say this. We like a certain era. This is in our wheelhouse. We weren't even born when Chuck Berry was around, when those were hits. Buddy Holly.
right.
Though I like Buddy Holly quite a bit.
My God.
But we haven't talked about Buddy Holly because I never think about talking Buddy Holly.
Rank 10 favorite Buddy Holly songs.
I would do that.
Me too. Buddy Holly was the precursor to power pop. Put Buddy Holly and Everly Brothers together, and you've got the Beatles.
What if we did a Buddy Holly show just for the hell of it?
Yeah.
We could do that. Thing is, we have to keep physical media alive. Well, I don't think physical media for now. Wait a minute. Who was it? Ernesto, did you just say that you saw some kind of article or a poll that CDs have an upward tick in sales. Something. I saw something. It
I
could
think
be.
Japan's always been good with CDs
They're
in
still
terms
buying
of
them like
sales.
crazy over there.
Yeah. I think Europe has upward tick. I think America, since America is full of people who sit on the internet and talk about jazz albums, records,
Mhm.
vinyl, I think it's a little slower here. Because the vinyl people who invested way too much money in their collection are trying to not make the CD revival happen.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I've talked about this before, and I know this will be true. The next generation, when they discover the CD, they'll go, look, these are all cheap. Look how much music I can get.
Yeah.
I don't have to stream it. I can own it. And vinyl, the prices are out of this world.
Mhm.
But you can go get a CD. Doesn't ever, it's the same thing. You know what a CD is? It sounds great. I've never had a CD go bad. You've heard of disc rot. I don't think I've ever had that. The CDs I bought in 1985 are just fine.
Mhm.
But I think once you have this younger generation come around, they'll go, wow, look at this. This is incredible. So, people that are cleaning out their collections, dumping them. You go on Facebook Marketplace, people are just unloading stuff. You can get a collection cheap. Here we go. Here's BM Bolt. Buy low. Don't pay more than $5 for vinyl or $1 for CDs. Yeah, you have to buy low. But I'm telling you, it's going to come back around. The CD is going to have a renaissance, just like vinyl did. Just give it some time. It's a little bit early, but get what you can now while it's cheap. Because that's when I bought all my vinyl when people were dumping it. It's like all these audio files that are going on how great CDs, CDs. Okay, all these audiophile people that are vinyl people now, they sold all their collections when CDs came out. Now they have to rebuy it all. Now they dog CDs and think vinyl's great.
Mhm.
Come on. You were on the CD bandwagon years ago, and then you come back around. Oh, well, CDs are horrible. Vinyl's great. Yeah, it's all bullshit.
Yeah, but the important thing is just stick
The
with
music.
the music. Stick with just physical media is
Maybe.
but CDs always going to be my preference because
Yeah.
it's cheaper. I know that that there are some people out there who goes, I hate bonus tracks. I just want to hear I just want to hear the 10 songs. I don't want to hear the other 8, live tracks or demos or B-sides after that.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? Push stop. Right? Let all of us enjoy those 8 bonus tracks.
I want the bonus tracks.
Yeah. Even if I never listen to them. I want it.
I want it. I want it. Even though a lot of these later masterings aren't as good as those original 80 CDs, keep the 80 CD, buy the remaster with the bonus tracks, and get the bonus tracks. Yeah. Those NAC CDs that Capitol did in the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were saying brick
walled to death. But there are other versions that sound great, but there's a lot of great bonus tracks on those Capitol CDs.
Yeah.
So they're worth owning. And they're not cheap anymore.
Yeah.
But, there are better versions that aren't brick walled. Now, why Doug Feiger wanted to brick wall them when they were mastering them, I don't know. But, louder's better.
Maybe he had no control.
Probably didn't. But I would never get rid of those CDs. It's just like DC. Wait a minute, Starman, I'd rather spend $30 to $40 on a CD box of multiple albums by an artist instead of $30 for one album on vinyl. I like you, Starman. You make sense.
Brindley's dad worked in the business. Brindley's dad had something to do with Bram Tchaikovsky and the Jam and all these other. Yeah, it's just incredible.
Rich, I deeply regret selling my vinyl back in the 80s. Have to look at the price of Nick Drake albums now, which I had. Shocking. I bet. But you can get Nick Drake on CD. I see Nick Drake use CDs. They're not terribly expensive. Yeah. I'm sure they sound pretty good. How long we go? Oh, it's 1:25. We'll probably have to wrap this dog up.
Yeah.
We went from a Greg Kihn show to just a Well, this is going to be kind of like Friday night chat. So I will mention that a week from Friday, I'm going to start bringing the Friday night chats back. My channel originally a long time ago, I used to do them, and then the listening parties kind of took over. But young Logan's got me convinced to bring the Friday night chats back. So I'm just going to start scheduling those once a month. So if you want to come on and talk music, the link will be down below. We can all come on and chat. That's how I met BM Bolt. Hey, that's how I met Schnee. We're from the Friday night chats. So come on. We might be able to start a beautiful friendship online. I'm just saying, I don't know. If you don't want to come online, you can still get in the chat. So we're going to be hanging out a week from Friday. Yeah.
One thing that I want to remind people of is when we do things like this, chatting about Greg Kihn's catalog, is Grant and I are passionate about this music, that we talk about. We are sharing our opinions. And amongst those opinions are facts, facts about, Greg Kihn born on this day, Greg Kihn, these are the people that were on this album, those kind of things, right? The thing is that's the wonderful thing is we get to share our opinions. If your opinions are different than ours, fantastic too. Definitely share those in the comments below, share those in the chat room. I love when people react and they'll say, Schnee, I'm disappointed you put this at number 8. I can't believe you did that or whatever. And it's like, I love that because we all listen to things differently and we all feel differently about things. And I love talking about music. Don't get mad at somebody because they don't like something or they don't feel the way that you do. I think there's less of that happening now, especially, when I did my Elvis thing, there were some people who gave me some hate for my opinions on that. But generally speaking, people here have different opinions and I think that's fantastic. And people share them that way as well. It's like, oh, I can't believe that you think that way. And then this is how I feel about it. That's fantastic. I love that kind of interaction. But when you just spout and yell and scream because somebody doesn't feel the way that you do, you just become another Grant.
You just got the Rascals box. It's good. The Rascals box that's out on Cherry Red.
Again, I can't.
Cherry Red's become Rhino. That's our Rhino now.
There's one seller. Oh, absolutely. There's one seller, and I'm not going to tell you guys the band because I don't want people to go buy this or buy these two things. But there's a seller in Canada who has 2 CDs. I like Graham Parker the Rumor.
CDs by this particular. I don't have an opinion on Graham Parker and the Rumor.
They have 2 CDs. These are the only CDs I'm missing out of this group's catalog. One is a super rare album. One is just a different version of an album that has a couple different songs I don't have. Mm-hmm. But if I buy them both together, it's $200. And it's like, oh. So they're in my car.
Why are you so mad?
I know they're going to get bought up. Yeah. So that's why I have to sell stuff.
I understand.
I won't feel that bad if I sell 10 CDs and get $200, then I'm able to buy it. But I actually should maybe put that money towards maybe my heart medication. I don't know. This just work because there's always something exciting that I want,
Oh, Now Sounds. That's the one who put out the Rascals box. It's still Cherry Red.
Yeah.
But it's great. Yeah.
I actually know Steve Stanley. I know Steve Stanley.
It's great.
He's a super great guy.
It's a wonderful box set. Wonderful box set. You get the stereo and mono mixes.
I'll never be able to buy that because there's other stuff I want before it.
I know. Well, it's fine though. But it's a wonderful set. Highly recommend it. What's this? DC, I'm up to 17 new CDs I haven't listened to yet.
Yeah.
Well, I know, but you can't help it. I can't stop. My wife says, Grant, you got to stop. I said, This is
Grant,
what I've done ever since I was 5 years old.
Grant,
I've
did you
never
buy that?
stopped.
Did you buy that Laughing Dog CD with the 2 albums on it?
No.
Oh, you fool. You're a fool. But
I
on my
know.
channel,
I know I'm a fool.
yeah, on my channel, I'm now I've been friends with Carter Cathcart from the Laughing Dogs. Now I'm friends with Jimmy Accardi from the band, and they put out a whole bunch of CDRs through their website, which is like demos, live, alternate versions, unreleased albums, all that kind of stuff. One of my favorite songs by them is called "Get 'Em Out of Town," which is off the first song off the first album, and so I created a video for it, the Eddie Kramer version. Producer Eddie Kramer did it. And that's the newest video on my channel if anyone wants to check that out. I used existing footage from their released version of the video, plus inserted a whole bunch of stuff, and it's just great pop. Yeah, American Beat, same thing. Just
Gone. But
couldn't put out great stuff, and the distribution, the profit, all that kind of stuff. It kills them.
They brought out the Piper CDs, the 2 Piper albums on one CD. That goes for ungodly amount of money. They put out a lot of great stuff that now goes for a bucket load of cash. And
The Tourists Reality Effect they put out,
and they're gone.
which is the American version. I have that. I have the 2
I got the
A's
Nick
on
Haywood.
CD.
Nick Haywood. They put Nick Haywood out. I got that.
Well, they also put out Nick Hayward too.
I mean, God, sorry, Hayward. Who am I talking about?
Did you know
Jesus.
Haircut 100 have a new single out?
I've
called
got the Haircut 100 on American Beat.
Right.
Mhm.
But so you don't have the 4 CD box set
No.
with all that bonus stuff? You need to get that.
Okay.
But Haircut 100 have a new single called The Unloved Plum, a new album coming out in, I think, by November. And last night I missed them because I can't afford to go see them. Tonight I'm missing Squeeze.
Oh no.
I was actually invited last night by somebody to go see Haircut 100 because his wife wasn't going to go. But I had ski lodge to do, and I think connecting with friends this way sometimes is more important to me.
Well, like I said, we have a great community here.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody that comes on here, everyone, I feel we're all in this together.
Yeah.
Who else are we going to talk to about stuff? We have each other.
Exactly.
So, that's why we do it. And it's great that we have this community. And the fact that we can do this on YouTube, unbelievable. Unbelievable.
How many viewers do you have right now?
We only have like 31. We were up to 40. I didn't think Greg Kihn would be a big.
That's still fantastic.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, because there's people who want to talk to us. Or no, I'm sorry. It's not really about us. It's about music.
Yeah, the Rave Ups toofer was on.
I have that as well. Yeah, I have that. I have the A's. The Fools I just sold on Discogs about a month or two ago.
The Unloved Plum is about Lady Bird Johnson. Is it about her nipples?
Call back.
My God.
But I have all the Nick Haywards, the Cherry Red versions with all the bonus tracks.
But Collector's Choice, speaking of these labels, Collector's Choice is still out there, but they aren't reissuing anything anymore, are they?
No, Collector's Choice is out there. It's just a name. It's just a distributor. The people who ran Collector's Choice, the reissue label, are the same people that run Real Gone Music.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But I mean, there used to be releases that were released on Collector's Choice, like Tommy Two Tone and.
No, that was the collectibles label.
Oh, I'm getting that. Oh shit! God, what time is it? No wonder it's like 11 o'clock almost.
Grant needs to go night-night.
I know. I'm getting everything confused. I can't talk. Collector's Choice became Real Gone. Now the name acts as a sister brand to Deep Discount, Import CDs, Pop Market, etc.
You know why I'm very familiar with that? Because that's the company I work for.
There you go.
That has all those things under, Yeah.
Shout Factory's good. I
Yep.
did pick up something that was on
They're
Shout
really good.
Factory. Oh, some disco. I got this disco box set that's on
Shout.
Factory. Let it all hang out.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. I think we did it. We went an hour and a half. We shot less shit. But I don't care. It's my show, and I like to talk music. Go out and check out Greg Kihn. I don't know. Go give Rubellin some love. Go over to the Rubellin site, buy a album, buy a CD. Give him some support, because once that stuff's gone, it's gone.
And support Schnee TV.
Oh,
support my new Laughing Dogs video that I just put up. Great pop. I know that once Grant goes and hears it, he's going to go, I need to get, because the release version sounds awful close to this version.
Well, you recommend something, then I have to go buy it. It costs me money.
I know.
Same with Dan Gauscher. All those people they recommend stuff, and I buy it. But none of those guys, anybody who's recommended something has never turned me wrong. Never. It's always right on the money. And I'm going, man, how did I get through my life not having this?
Isn't that amazing? I love experiencing that. Now you need to get into that's good, Dan. Now you need to get into Fraser Chorus.
Well, D, we're gonna do the Friday night chats on once a month on Friday. So that's the time. And I don't know who's gonna come on. I'll start them. I'll give you the link. Even you, D Rocker, can come on. And we'll just sit here and talk music the whole night.
Grant, have you heard Fraser Chorus?
No.
Do you like the Dream Academy?
Yes.
Take the Dream Academy, remove all the acoustic instruments, the acoustic guitar, the strings, everything. Add synths, keyboards, and that's Fraser Chorus.
I would like that.
Incredible music. Their album Sue, their album Ray. Definitely check out the first album. Again, I'm telling you something that's already now deleted on CD.
Fraser are out of print.
Yes.
Are they out of print, or are they out of them? Because that could be two different things.
They're out of print.
They're out of print. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if they're that expensive, but seriously.
I'm going to look right now. Well, I bet they are expensive, because a lot of those, look how much that Flock of Seagulls is. Jeez.
Where are you now? Are you on Discogs?
Yeah, I'm going on disc. There they are. Fraser Chorus.
First album, I think, is called Sue, right?
Sue. Came out in 1989 on Virgin.
Yeah.
There's the Cherry. Well, there is an original Virgin CD that came out in 89. They're cheap. Not like I could just get that. I don't need the Cherry Red version.
You can go right now to
Cherry
eBay.
Red's expensive.
You can go to eBay, buy it from the UK for $9.87, free shipping. Their second album, Ray, you can buy for $4 plus $4 something shipping. And Wide Awake is another album.
Yeah, all these. Is there any from the United States? Here's one. Fraser Chorus. It's $12.99 plus $5 shipping, and it's in the United States.
Well, I would say just go type in Fraser Chorus Dream Kitchen and listen to it. And I think that you're going to be hooked. Or
is Dream okay? I believe you, though. I don't even have to do it. Every time you tell me something, I trust you 100%.
Fraser Chorus is
I'm going to love it. I will.
Every time I've ever turned anyone on to him, I mean, this band was too late for new wave. If they had come out 2 or 3 years earlier, they would have been huge.
I'm just going to buy it. You've got me. I'm good. And that price I can handle. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah. I think you might go wee-wee in your pants when you hear it. It's so good.
Well, that'd probably be kind of thrilling. It'd be warm.
Now,
feel alive.
One of their B-sides, they do a cover of Anarchy.
Oh, they've got another one. They've got Okay, they've got two. This Retroplex Records has Sue and they have Ray.
Yeah, Ray's the second album, which is also good. Sue is the
All right.
best of the two.
Oh, I'm
But
getting both.
how much is the second one?
$7.99.
Yeah, I mean, just a great band.
I'm doing it, Schnee. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because I believe in you. You've never steered me wrong, or anybody in the chat. No one. And look, Dan's throwing out more bands now.
Well, here's a little a little bit of information. Tim Freeman, the leader of Fraser Chorus, his brother is Martin Freeman, the actor.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Grant, check out new band White Dog Southern Rock. Okay. Jeff, never heard of Fraser Chorus. We'll have to check it out.
Like I said, Fraser Chorus, it's British synth pop. Too late for the 80s or whatever, but they do actually have flutes and all that kind of stuff in it. But it's very unique. He has like a breathy or vocal, and every song is catchier than heck.
Great show, guys. Wishing everyone a pleasant dreams of Eleanor Roosevelt. Well, she was a handsome woman. I'll leave it at that. All right, everybody. I got to work tomorrow. I think I have, what's tomorrow? Thursday? Today's Wednesday. I have to host a show on Contrarians tomorrow night, but I only have one show. I had 2 cancellations. We were supposed to do a King's X show with Rand, and he hurt his back, so we had to move that. And then I had another I just have to reschedule them, but it kind of freed me up. Normally I'm book, but.
Well, remember, I know you have to go to bed now. We won't talk after the stream, but we have to book Adam Ant, Boomtown Rats,
tomorrow.
Tommy
I'll be in contact.
Yeah. The Schnee TV chat, if I can
we'll do that. That'll be first.
Yeah.
We'll pick a date and I'll get we'll get DC on it. So we have a lot to look forward to. Schnee will be back. We will continue talking music. I can't do this channel without Schnee. Like a sidekick at this point. Not really. I figure you're co-hosting this is what you are.
Yeah.
But I love doing shows with you, Steve, and we will keep doing. I like the collaboration, so it's always fun.
Yeah, and you and I always find something to talk about.
There's always something to talk about.
Yeah.
So check out Greg Kihn. Go to Rubellin. Please buy something. Try to support him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel bad. Don't mean to bring people down. Oh, wait a minute, Starman. Good night to all my fellow Pat Nixon enthusiasts. Steven, you'll do a show with me? All right. Well, come on Friday night chat a week from Friday. Let me test you out. See if you're worthy.
I've been replaced by another Steven. Friggin-tastic.
Jesus. All right. Good night, everybody. Have a good rest of the week. It is hump day. So if I don't talk to you, have a good weekend. And don't forget, on Sunday, we'll be doing the live listening party, and BM Bolt's coming on, and we're just playing random stuff because it's our birthdays. So we're going to celebrate. All right, everybody. Have a good one. We'll see you. Thanks for tuning in.
Good night.